So your dad's out here working on the fence project. Just take this on. Brand new house, putting in a fence for the people. Then we're gonna be coming back later on this summer, putting an addition on the back side of this house. So I was filming, doing the fence the other day. The only goofy thing is I had it on manual focus. So after getting a little scolding from the Bonz, I'm now down here on autofocus. Today the kids are out playing, as I call it, the United States Navy, best Navy in the world. I can say that, I'm retired from it. They're out flying the Growlers. The Growlers are your jammers that what they do is they take and they can jam all the electronics and just shut down the entire city, all the grid. It's, I tell you, it's amazing the stuff you can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and start moving all the material down here. The drain field's right over there, where the dry spot is, and there's no way I could be driving the ram across the dry spot, across that area right there. Plus, with all the trees and everything came out, you can see it's kind of, you know, wet. It's been raining a little bit here, so don't need to get a truck stuck. Besides, the old fat horse needs some exercise anyways.
Been a really long week and a lot of it has been spent here in the office, but that's how we go ahead and keep things moving ahead. The good news is, so we finally got back the engineering plans for the remodel that we're working on, and we had to remove that load bearing wall. So that's a huge step forward. He went ahead and sent us over all the specs. We're gonna be using a 3x9 glue lamp to go ahead and support that. So we'll build some temp walls and then be able to cut out the beams and then put this thing up in and anchored everything to it. But before I can go ahead and move forward doing that, I now get to file some permits with the city. So that's always fun. Thankfully, the project that we're working on is within the city because we're able to usually get those oh my gosh, I can't speak. Thankfully, the property that we're working on is within the city because we can generally get those permits back within a week or two. If it's out in the county, it's a whole different game, and I've seen it take up to 4 to 6 months just for simple renovations. As much as it's a pain in the butt to deal with doing the whole permitting and everything else, it is the right way to do things, which we're all about, and it ensures that we don't run into any issues. Usually there's a whole inspection process around any of the permits that we submit. For instance, with this one, since we're gonna be having to cut open concrete and create footings to be able to support all of the weight from that house down onto those beams, we'll cut out concrete. Somebody will come out, inspect the concrete, we'll fill it, and then they'll come out, inspect it, sign it off. We'll install the beams, they'll sign it off, and then we're good to go. It just makes sure that there's no issues for us moving forward with the process, as well as that things are done according to the proper codes. So while it is a pain in the butt to deal with, it is still a good thing to make sure that, you know, people aren't just doing these projects by themselves and then their house collapses in on them, because who would want that? So anyways, let's get to it.
Over here in the distance, trying to get up there, hopefully they don't want to run away, because I've been seeing evidence that these animals, otherwise known as deer, and I love them, and no, I don't hunt, so the deer are safe around me, but they've been leaving their little tracks all over the place. But as you can see, we got 4 beautiful deer just hanging out in the corner over here, just enjoying themselves. So the deer, they love to just hang out here, eat the brush and everything. So had to go change the battery, figure might as well come down and get a little photo of them. They're just kind of hanging out, seeing what I'm doing. I think I'm gonna call it a wrap for the day. Right now, just put in another 100 feet today. That's a 190-foot run right there. So, doing this just to keep people from trying to come up on this land and dump stuff or do anything. You know, just a little privacy. So they did a great job clearing it the other day. Just getting rid of all the bushes and the trees that we're all straggly and everything. So that's gonna be a wrap for today. Tomorrow, go down there, put in the 2 end pieces and the 8x8, and hopefully next week we get the gates, the 10-foot red gates.
To wrap up the day here in the office, I am working on submitting all of our guys' time cards. We used to use a program called ClockShark, and it worked out pretty darn well. But recently we've transitioned away from QuickBooks Online, which is the one that ClockShark can work with. It doesn't work with QuickBooks Desktop. So we went ahead and transitioned over to this QuickBooks Time, which works both with the online as well as the desktop. This year, we're trying to be much better about tracking all of our guys' times against the jobs. This will give us a better picture of the profitability for each job. And using QuickBooks Time does that automatically for us. They had to clock into a job, so when I approve their time cards, it automatically exports against the job that they were working for. This is also possible with many of the other time tracking services that you can sign up for, but I just find that QuickBooks Time does this a lot better. I can actually go in and map everything exactly where I want it to go. And one last little reason why I like to use QuickBooks Time is because we can accurately track the type of work that our guys are doing. Here in the state of Washington, we have something that's called the labor and industry. This might not be the same in other states, but here in Washington, we get taxed off of the type of work that our guys do. So for instance, roofing is riskier than doing interior paint. So we end up paying a higher tax rate if our guys are doing roofing versus if they're doing interior paint. So we want to make sure that we're accurately tracking that. That way we're not paying too much in taxes for items that our guys aren't actually doing. So this is super easy to track with QuickBooks Time. Once again, they clock into the job, which customer it's for, and what work they are doing. And then it clocks out all that information, exports over to QuickBooks, and that way I don't have to do it myself. It speeds up the process and makes it super streamlined. So I'm a big fan of that. So I went through and got all of my guys' time cards approved here in QuickBooks Time. So now I'm over here in our actual QuickBooks desktop. So getting this time over to here is as easy as this. I come down here to app management, scroll over to update web services because this is a web service. I click QuickBooks Time, update selected. You see some progress. Come on, work for me, baby. Sometimes this thing likes to crash on me, so that makes it less fun. It's going back, getting all the time. Oh, perfect. And just like that, all of our guys' time has now been exported from QuickBooks Time over into our QuickBooks Desktop app. And now I can just go ahead and send that report over to our accountants. They'll go ahead and run payroll for us and we'll be good to go. So with that, I am now out of here. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow along with any of the cool projects that we have going on, be sure to subscribe to the channel and I'll see you on the next one.